Alright, I am live. Hello everyone, I'm Warnoshis Class Donato, and today we're going to be learning about using the flight simulator in the web. So right now I'm going to have Warnoshis Class Gong explain everything, and we're going to have a bit of talk about the Duke of Edinburgh program with CI Shaw. So, and we're going to get to our flight sim, okay? Good? So we're just gonna wait for Warrant Officer Gong to text us. Oh, that was a little sneak peek of our little merch team. So, how are you guys doing? Everyone's good? Everyone's surviving so far? Let's see if anyone's in chat. No one's wrote yet. Okay, that's good. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll try to answer as best as I can. Before one Gong's gonna text me, I'm gonna start it off. Right. See what the thing does. Hello. Something's wrong. Hello. Dismiss. Go into Google Meet. Okay. I don't know if this is gonna be creating a problem between. Yeah, it's gonna create a problem. Oh, let's just join the Google Meet.
Hello, so I just want to make sure can everyone in the live stream hear me? Say yes in the chat if you guys can hear us. So CI Shaw and I will just make a quick announcement before Donato proceeds with the actual simulation part. Okay. You guys can't hear. Donato, you can't hear us in live stream. So go on your OBS. Make sure you turn on the built-in microphone, the built-in audio.
Okay. Can you hear you now?
Okay. Okay, so couple of things for you guys before we start. So first of all, today is going to be the first of a couple of fun more theme nights that we're going to have in our squadron. So we call these theme nights, so it's not going to be like regular training. Tonight's theme is going to be about aviation. So we're going to get to play around with the simulation online. We're all going to get to connect with each other. But we're going to have more of these in the future. So next week we'll have something related to Halloween. And these are sort of things that we want to organize for you guys to make it more fun. And if ever you have any suggestions as to what you want to see in the squadron during these virtual during our virtual training, you can feel free to give us some suggestions. That's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to remind you guys was the Cadet Advisory Committee. So that's a new initiative I've put forward for this year. So the goal of that is just like, if you guys have any ideas, you would join this committee, and specifically you would give me and other officers and other seniors some feedback on like how your experience has been in the virtual training and how we can make it better for you guys. So if you guys want to join, you can send me a private message. I've detailed the instructions in the announcements, so look for that message. And then third thing, if you haven't already, make sure you type your name in the chat. So your last name, your first name, and your rank. Please, I didn't specify this, but make sure to write it like this so that it's easier for the people tracking attendance to. Okay, well, I'll write in the chat. First name, please type your name as such. Last name, first name, rank.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120
And that's how we're going to track attendance for tonight. So just type it like that. If you guys don't know what ground school is, basically we have, usually every year we have an opportunity, like a summer camp for glider and a summer camp for the power scholarship. So to prepare for that, you would have ground school before, to prepare for your interviews and your exams. And, with 2021, when the summer 2021, we're still not sure what's going to happen. But what we are going to do as a squadron is still have some ground school classes virtually, and we're going to hold them with the 690 squadron, and we're going to get started in the next few weeks. So it would be, if you want to take part, there's a few things you need to do. You need to send to Captain Woods, or send to me actually on Microsoft Teams your name and your email if you're interested in ground school. And we expect them to be held on Thursday nights, but it's to be confirmed. And once you send me your name and your email, we'll send you an email once we have more info about ground school. And it would be also good if you can get a hold of the From the Ground Up book if you want to join ground school. So apart from that, that's all I have for today, and I'll pass them out to CI Shaw.
Thank you, Ron. To all cadets, whether or not you know me, I'm CI Shaw. I'm running the Duke of Ed for this year. And so this announcement's basically to let you guys know that I'm going to be hosting an information session next Thursday at 6 p.m. And so what I'm asking you guys to do is that if you're remotely interested in the Duke of Ed, and either would you just like to know more about, okay, what is it, what am I really getting myself into, then this is just a short information session, and it's also going to let you guys know how you can still participate in this award, even though we're still in COVID times. And this award really helps build your leadership, and not only that, but you'll get involved in different facets of like your cadet career as well, and also different aspects such as like learning a new skill or volunteering. It definitely helps you bridge out and become a more holistic citizen. And personally, I really gained a lot from this experience. Gong also recently completed the Bronze Award, and I'm sure he can attest to the fact that he also learned a lot in his whole journey and his experience. And so definitely what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sending out a Google Forms link on the announcements board, which all of you guys are already part of, on Microsoft Teams, and just access that link. And for all the cadets that are not here as well, if the cadets who are here could share with their peers that about this interest form, and just fill it in as soon as you can, and hopefully before next cadet night. And I'm going to be sending a follow-up email to all of you guys who registered for the event, details on how I'm going to be hosting the event and how you can join. And so just look out for that. And please, and once again, I'm going to be sending it out on the Microsoft Teams announcement page. You'll see it as a link there. And that's about it. And so I really look forward to seeing you guys there. And yeah, thank you. That's it for me, Gong.
Yep. So Donato, that's if you can leave the meeting now and proceed with the fun part.
All right then. I'll see you guys later. Ciao. Okay. I just got some notifications that I'm having, you guys are having trouble with the echo. Wait. Oh, okay. I think it made sense because I was connected to Google Meet and I didn't mute myself. Sorry about that. But if I sound okay right now, just let me know. Either Champagne or another senior can text me. Anyways, like he said, let's get to the fun part of today's night, which is the flight simulator. Good. Great, our senior confirmed with me, so that's good. So we're gonna go to our flight simulator. It's gonna be a fun experience for you all. And from my perspective, I'm still echoing. Okay, that's weird. And my cam's frozen. Yeah, okay. We're having a lot of difficult problems right now since this is our first time actually going online. Well, except for last year. But this is our first time going live stream on YouTube. So we'll get this fixed up later on. But hopefully, you guys can tolerate today's session and learn and understand everything. Okay. So I'm just gonna sign up for my old account. I'm gonna sign up for Google. Use my own account. Good. All right. So for today's aviation team night, like Gong said, we are going to go over. I'm just gonna take off my camera anyways, since it's frozen. So we're gonna go over GeoFS. So GeoFS is a flight simulator that you guys can go on the browser and click on it, and it's ready to play. It's honestly the most easiest flight sim you can get for free, and it's honestly like a great experience. If you're trying to go for glider or power, like he said, I believe that this simulator is almost truest to its form of flight. So to get to GeoFS, you just search it up on Google. Let's say here, I'm gonna go on Google. GeoFS, bam. You click on it, free online flight simulator, and you press fly. But before that, we can review the instructions since the GeoFS simulator goes by either your mouse or your keyboard. So you go to instructions, and as you can see, use plus and minus key to throttle. I already used the keys over here, but you use the mouse as a stick. To gain speed, pull gently. Change camera by pressing C. Press G to raise and lower land gear, and press space to brake. Okay. Good. So you guys can review this once you're inside. Okay, thank you, Champagne. So once you guys are inside the simulator, you guys are gonna feel how it's going to be. It's not like an easy flight simulator where you can just go one direction and the plane's gonna go one direction. In fact, there's a lot of things that you have to take note about once you're flying in GeoFS. Now, we can press fly. You have to sign in. So sign in to your Google or Facebook, Shippo, or anything. You guys can fly with me, and I'll show you how to. So you gotta close Google Meet because sometimes that just causes a bit of problem. Here, I'm gonna refresh this. And yes, there is gonna be some ads, and it's gonna be annoying, but it don't matter as long as you're flying. Okay. So this is GeoFS. What you see here is real-time flight from me. I hope there's not too much lag when I'm flying. However, we're not trying to fly into these beautiful mountains here. In fact, we're going to go to our local flying site before COVID started, which is at Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu. So what I do here is that I go to navigation. As you can see, there's other pilots here that are flying around. Some of them are still in Milbray, St. Bruno, and this is all the way at Cali, I believe. Yeah, this is all the way at Cali, and you can see there's all these pilots around the game, and in fact, they're all flying here, and it's pretty cool. You get to interact with other people. So if you guys join into the game, you can catch me at Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, and I can give you guys a good demo of what you're guys gonna expect on your famille flight. So let's start off by being on the ground, okay? Now with GeoFS, you can select different kinds of aircraft. So I was playing around with the Sukhoi MiG-13 with Warrant Officer Gong earlier, but since we're going to check on how is it gonna feel once you're up in the air, I was more familiarized with the SDD-48-3 Jantar, which is a glider that's almost just like ours, except that it just has a bigger wingspan and the horizontal stabilizers on top, where it usually should be in the middle of the empennage. So let's do a quick review of the aircraft. So this part is the cockpit. This is where you sit. This is where the pilot is. That's where all your instruments are. This little wheel right here is your landing gear, and this little wheel right here is also your landing gear. This one retracts, but in the gliders that we use in the cadet program, they don't retract. Okay, so this one's a bit fancier. These big sticks right here, those are called wings. And they have these little segments that I'm going to show you that will move, and that's what will create roll, yaw, and pitch, okay? As I said before, in the back over here is the empennage. This is where your yaw and your elevator movement goes over. So here's your rudder, here's your vertical stabilizer, elevator, a horizontal and elevator. This is your vertical stabilizer. And other than that, it's very simple. Now, more about the outside. Now let's get back to the inside. Now with this simulator, you can go to your cockpit cam, okay? And this is how it's actually going to feel when you're flying. You're not going to be flying with a camera outside of your glider, and you're just going to check like, oh, I'm flying this way. You're actually going to be inside the cockpit, and you're going to see all these instruments, and you can't really see your wings that much, unless you can turn your head while you're flying, which you should be. Anyways, enough of that. Let's talk about the instruments. So as you can see here, this is your compass. Right now I'm pointing to 29, which is the runway we are at right now. 29 means 290 degrees from the north, and that's why it's pointing right there. As you can see, we're gonna see that it's gonna move later on. Over here is your airspeed indicator. In gliders, we don't go over like 70 or 80, but I'm pretty sure this one's a bit more faster than our normal gliders. Sorry about that, it's a bit shaky. It's a bit faster than our normal gliders, so sometimes you're gonna see me go over like 70 and such, because our gliders are slower, the cadet gliders are slower, but they're more stable than this one, okay? So like you can, what my flight instructor says, that you can just release the stick once you're up there, and honestly your glider is gonna glide. It's gonna go straight. You don't have to touch anything. It's that stable. But this one needs a bit more love, so that's why I'm gonna point that out. Vertical speed indicator. So this is how fast you're going to climb up your altitude, or how fast you're climbing down your altitude, okay? And you're gonna see it in action later on once I start climbing on the glider. Next we have the altimeter over here, as you can see, and this will be all the way up to 3,000 feet once I'm up in the air, and it's gonna start going down once I'm reaching my landing point, okay? There's also, oh, okay, that's a fun name. Anyways, there's a joystick right here. This joystick, you move it, so if you bring it down like that, that means your plane's gonna go upwards, so it's gonna pitch up. If you bring the control stick down, Foo is here too. If you bring the control stick down, your airplane's gonna pitch downwards. If you bring this to the left, the wing from the left over here is gonna go up, and the wing down here is gonna go down. It's actually much more visible if I take the camera out to fixed cam, right? You can see Fu over there having fun with his plane. So as you can see, if I push my joystick to the left, my right aileron over here goes down, and my left aileron goes up. We're gonna do a quick revision of this. As you can see, if I push the joystick to the right, my left aileron goes down, and my right aileron goes up. And he tried to run away from me. Okay, thank you, Fu. And for pitching, earlier, when I brought the stick down, as you can see over here, see how that moved? Okay, it's a bit shaky right now, I don't know why. But as you can see, the elevators go up and down just like a normal plane. And last thing about instruments is rudder, and this is what's making that yaw movement, your vertical stick. Sorry, not your stick, your anyways, the rudder is just basically making this part move, and you have to coordinate these two movements together. So your aileron and your yaw, once you're turning, you're gonna be seeing it later on once we're doing our movements, okay? So let's get back into the camera of the cockpit right there. Now the rudder, it's a bit hard to see here, but as you can see, those two pedals down there, left and right. So if I push, okay, it doesn't really move, but anyways, these rudders are just like those gas pedals that you would see in cars, but they don't actually make your plane accelerate. It actually makes you turn on the vertical axis. All right, so you'll see later on. This, I believe it's gear. I don't know which one. I think this one is gear. So this is when your plane's up or down, and this is your air brakes. Now we use another term for this, and it's called spoilers. Okay, and we use when we do it on our checks. Ooh, still flying around. Okay, and we check if our spoilers are working on our start of a check. So as you can see, right there, that's a spoiler. Okay, that makes you lose a bit of altitude and speed in the air. All good so far. I don't think there's any cadets in this place. Oh, exit player. Actually, we can check right now. We can check if there's any other people. No, there's no cadets. But anyways, you guys can play later on with the simulator. It's free. You guys can download it. And now we're gonna proceed on to the simulation itself. So normally another plane will tow you up into the sky, and basically you're gonna fly from there. But in this game, you can just start up from the air. So, oh, something's wrong. So we're gonna take off from runway 29, as you can see from the compass, 29 right here, and right here is gonna be 250, 25. Okay. Bam, we're up in the air, just like that. That easy. All right. So as you can see, the plane's up in the air. Hello 1 2 3 4 5 6 is on the air as well, and we're trying to conduct a bit of maneuvers. As you can see, like I said, the glider is not as stable as the one we have in cadets. It's actually a lot more easier if we switch to cockpit view, but I want you guys to see how the movements are made. So let's say if I put the joystick to the right. Okay, right now it's being a bit unbalanced. I'm gonna stabilize the flight. Good, it's stable now. So when I'm gonna make a right turn, I bring the nose down. See the wing move, and I bring the rudder, and that's how you do a right turn. Okay, with a glider. Well, usually in normal planes, it's gonna be a lot more easier. You don't have to put your nose down. In fact, you just do a normal turn on a plane. But gliders are a bit more complicated since you're playing with wind and you have no engine. All right. So stabilize it, pitch it down, and let's say you want to make a left turn. You pitch the left wing down, you make that rudder turn. Bam! See that? It's amazing. Okay? So, now that you see how the airplane works, let's see what happens when you're inside the cockpit. So I like it just a bit like this. Alright? And once you're inside the glider cockpit, it's actually a lot more easier to stabilize your glider, because you're going to see you can see your instruments right here. Even though I saw my instruments over here, it's a lot more easier to see because you're with the horizon. Okay? So Fu's over there flying his jet all willy-nilly. He's probably going about 120 knots per hour. Yeah, nothing's fast. And we're over here gliding. Now the reason why we're actually going super slow is because we're trying to prioritize our travel time with a balance with our altitude time. Okay? So the more speed we take, the more altitude we lose. Okay? I'm gonna show you a quick little demonstration of what that is. So I'm gonna check our map. We are off the grid, and there's three more cadets that joined us. So that's great. If you guys want to follow along into my flight, that's cool. But in any case, you guys can always play this later on. It's not only right now. Okay. So I'm gonna put the nose of the aircraft down and look at my altimeter. It's going down fast, and my airspeed is going really high, and my VSI is actually going crazy. It's actually going all the way to 20, so that's not good. You're losing a lot of altitude. So when you're flying a glider, you always want to stay level. Relax, you're in a glider. It's no pressure, except that you don't have an engine. So let's check out some little movements we can do right here. So we can do a right turn. Just like that, easy to recover. Then we can do a left turn. Watch your altitude. And you're back. Now let's do something more advanced. So when you're doing a right turn, you actually want to look to the direction where you're going. Look there, and then look forward, bring your nose down, and you turn. Now the reason why you look there is so that make sure there's no other aircraft that's going to be on your way. Because the last thing you want to do is actually hit another aircraft when you're flying. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing with a left turn. We're going to turn our stick. We're going to push our rudder. And just like that, that's how you do a left turn. And we're towards... There's a lot of foos today. I don't know if that's our cadets, but... Yeah, foos. We're going to go towards our runway since our altitude is a bit low. However, we can still do more movements. 1 second. We have to stabilize our aircraft a bit. It's going to enter a stall right now. Yeah, it's entering a stall. So this is not really recommended to do, but if you can recover from it really smoothly, okay? So stalls, you shouldn't really do it over cities. In fact, you should never do it over cities, because if there's a risk, if who's flying a jet above me, if there's a risk of you crashing down, it's not a good idea. So in stalls, you can ask the instructor when you're flying a glider if he can do a stall, and this is basically one way to get that G effect when you're on when you're on the roller coaster, and that's the amount of force that's actually pushing, the gravity is pushing against you, okay? So we're gonna do one of the movements of stall. So we're gonna bring the nose up. We're going to start to lose airspeed. In fact, we can put noise. We're gonna lose our airspeed, and it's gonna say stall right there. And usually it's gonna be more harder than this. There you go. And there's the stall, and you're gonna start to feel all that G's. You hear that wind pushing you. And this is not a good way to recover. So what I do in stalls is that I would actually push my nose down, not all the way down, so I bring it back up. Really noisy, but you know, it's a stall. It's the amount of air that's actually going into your airplane. I'm gonna turn that off. So now that you heard how much wind's actually pushing you when you're like losing a lot of altitude, you're gonna feel you're gonna have to feel the G-force once you're actually inside your not simulation flight. When you're doing your familiarization flight, it's gonna be a lot more scary. You're gonna feel all the force pushing to your chest. See that we have 4 cadets over here flying around, so that's cool. Now, as you can see, our altitude is actually pretty low right now. That means we're going to have to start to do our landing check. Now, landing is not that easy if you're trying to start to get used to an aircraft, because you can't just get inside a landing zone or a runway without telling other planes that you're going to land. So in Saint-Jean, they have a tower that you can talk to in the radio, and basically what that does is that you're gonna tell them that, oh, I'm gonna go for a landing, and they're gonna advertise the other planes like, watch out, there's a plane that doesn't have any engines that's gonna go to our runway, and that's scary. Alright, so we're always number 1 priority once we're doing our landings. So I just entered my downwind. This is the first part of landing, is to actually align yourself with the runway. Okay? We check our left, we look at our altitude, and we look at our airspeed. As you can see, we're going 60 knots. And we are going low. Keep looking over there, and we do our check. We see if our seatbelt's on. We radio down the tower, so we say, Saint-Jean Tower, this is a glider Foxtrot Mike Delta or glider FMD. On downwind, going on, yeah, so you just say on downwind, and they're going to say, okay, go for landing. And you always keep checking that back. Now, if you receive that 45-degree angle, you make your turn, just like so. And you're going to start doing your alignment, okay? You're going to start to visualize how you're going to land this craft, because you're at 1,400 feet up in the air, and the runway's over there. So what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to open my air brakes, so my spoilers, and I'm going to do some movements once we're doing our final. I'm actually going to open my base turn more than usual. I'm going to put it more outside rather than the inside. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to have more time to actually start losing altitude before my landing. Okay? So I'm at 1,200 feet, which is not good for a base turn. So I'm going to do a quick maneuver here. This is going to be a real magic trick. Alright? So this is what they call a slip. So what's basically going to happen is that I'm going to dive my wing towards the wind. And I'll put my rudder. And that's basically going to counteract and create this sort of like eternal air brake that's going to be on your glider. So I'm going to put my left wing down and put my right rudder up. And I'm going to start losing altitude without losing my direction. As you can see, I'm going a bit too much to the right. So I'm going to put my left wing down even more. But this is not where I'm supposed to be looking. I'm actually supposed to be looking over here. As you can see, we're actually going really, really low now. We're actually at 700 feet. Now we can keep doing it. We can keep losing that altitude. And we're going to be entering a stall. Now, I'm comfortable at 600 feet, so I'm going to stop doing my slip. And I'm going to coordinate my aircraft to land on the runway. Now, this is not where you usually land when you're on a glider. You never land on the runway when you're on a glider. You actually land on the other runway over there. That's designated for gliders. This one's actually designated for normal aircraft such as commercial, but just in case, if you want to tell ATC, oh, I'm gonna land on the runway because I don't know, I overshot my base turn. So you land here, okay? Put your gear up. As you can see, it was red before, now it's green. So I press G, and what you do here, it's not that like it's noticeable, but you're going to flare your aircraft. So I'm gonna change camera. That's a free cam, fixed cam. Okay, so you're not going to go nose down to the runway. You're actually going to let the glider glide just a bit, just like that. As you can see, I landed on the grass because I was not paying attention too much. But you're just gonna let it glide. You're not gonna make it go down, nose down, and you land perfectly just like that. Even though you have one wing down. Try bounce it, in fact. And you stop there. You let the cadets chase you down, grab your glider, bring you back to the area of launch for the gliders. And it's that simple for flying, okay? So there's so many factors that you have to consider when you're flying. What's your altitude? How much gas do I have? Do I even have gas? Does this thing have a motor? How fast can I go? Foo is gonna crash into me. That's not good. So what I'm taking out of this simulator is that you need to practice a lot, and you have to understand how airplanes work. You need to understand how much like turn you have to make to get to a position that you want to be. You have to plan out your flight. You have to think ahead, foresee the future, you know? Am I gonna pass this exam for college and go to university and have a successful career? You know, things like that. You think about the future. Hey, fool. He's gonna crash into me. Yeah, everyone likes crashing into me. Anyways. So that's the simulator. You guys can play this at any time. Well, not during your school time. You can do this on your free time. You learn how an aircraft works. You get used to this so that once you're in your how can you say, your familiarization flight, you can talk about it. You can exchange with your instructor, and he's going to be like, whoa, this kid knows everything. And you're going to be like, yeah, we're an officer second class Donato told me this. And I'm be like, yo, he's going to be a pilot. So anyways, that's the simulator. So you guys can have fun. You guys can fly jets. You can fly gliders. You can fly hot air balloons. Whatever tickles your fancy. I like gliders because I was used to flying gliders. So before we end off today's stream, I'm gonna go quickly do a quick pass by the radio tower at Seoul. And how am I gonna do that? Well, basically, you can listen to the radio in Saint Jean. So I'm gonna take that off. Go Messenger. Sorry about that. I didn't really plan out the website today. But there you go. liveatc.net. Now, liveatc.net, you can listen to Basically, any sort of channel, as long as they're broadcasting and the feed status is always up. So as you can see, serial approach and departure, we can actually listen to it right now. Sometimes they don't always broadcast it. Sometimes they're just like really quiet. We're gonna wait for a bit, see if we can hear them. But anyways, this is a really good experience that you guys can listen to and hear how do planes and air traffic control towers talk to each other. It's like weird. How do they coordinate themselves from like landing from China all the way to Montreal? How do they like take off? What do they say? Do they like have a small talk in between? You know? Just like that.
Oh my god, c'est direct cravate en finale 27, c'est jazz.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I didn't understand anything, but that was pretty fun. You get to listen to their little conversations. It's not spying. It's not illegal to do this, but if you want to listen to their approach and departure talk, you can even listen to de-icing ops over here, or ground apron operations. If you're in level 1, you remember apron, you know. Not the thing you wear when you're cooking. It's actually where you do your things. You can listen to Seal Tower. I believe this one has more activity than the other thing. I'm not sure, but they're fun to listen to. You can even listen to other airports, not only Seoul. So let's go to top 50 feeds. Now, Tokyo had the most activity when I was trying this out, but you can also listen to New York. Let's see what they sound like. Do they want to exchange about pizza or anything? Alright, so check it.
Via Bravo, Whiskey, cross runway 3 right, and taxi to the
right. Alright. Okay, so Serial is actually doing a lot of activity. But when I took out KJFK, so the John F. Kennedy Air Traffic Control Center, you guys actually heard a bit of the phonetic alphabet, and it's actually fun to listen to. I guess if this tickles your fancy, you can also listen to this and think about the notions that you learned in cadets and apply it to what you're listening to. Good, great. So we have 2 minutes left in our stream. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate. I'll try to answer them as much as possible. But you guys have a early release from today. You guys can leave. But if you guys have any questions, contact me on Microsoft Teams, or I'll check on the comments on the YouTube live. If you can't get into GOFS or don't know what's the link, I'll put it on. Okay, good. And if you want to fly, just make a little group in Microsoft Teams. I'll actually make that one, and then we can learn about how to fly in some days when I'm free from college. But yeah, if anyone doesn't have any questions, I will stop the stream. You guys are free to go study and have a great day. Okay. Well, 1 more minute. Here, we can still listen to them while I'm waiting for this. I don't know if I can see the questions in the live chat, but if you guys don't, if there's no one actually asking any questions in the live chat, just text me on Microsoft Teams. I'll try my best to answer them. Okay. So once again, have a nice day. You guys get rest, study well, and I'll see you guys soon. If ever this red zone is going down at the RMR, and I hope you guys polished your boots and ironed your uniforms. Alright, have a good day.
KLM 643, have you established island to left. KLM 643, have you taken tower with 2004, all VR more than 6,000, runway 22 left, Colonel. Roger, runway 22